Hiya! Welcome to another little travel vlog. This time we are visiting the gorgeous city of Prague in Czechia. Here there are all sorts of things to see at every corner. Random street art projects, old style preserved buildings that feel super European, and a whole load of fake cannabis shops for some reason. But the best part being the architecture. Like Italy, I'm an absolute whore for cool street designs. We visited the square and saw the famous astronomical clock, the third oldest in the world apparently, and still working. If you struggle to read clocks like me, don't even bother with this one, mate. It's a lot, but at least it's pretty, you know? Whoa! It's a freaking clock, man! I really like that they kept the older tram models alongside the postmodern ones. Oh my god!
Shakespeare Oscar.
We took a big old detour to go up to the castle grounds, which, oh my god, I think I found the headquarters of the goth girlies, because the real ones are hiding out here, away from the sun. You'd be shocked to know this was actually a cathedral. The actual castle was not this good. The inside proved to be just as beautiful, with the stained glass windows coming through with their beautiful colours, and the general layout of this cathedral. Joe J. Jesus is very gangster. I hope to have a tomb this dramatic in the future, with the pretty golden layouts and coloured glass. Looks pretty luxurious, huh? And really dramatic. Yeah. Here's how it's looking on the side. Absolutely gorgeous, darling. There was so much to see on castle grounds and so many squares that we didn't get to stare at all the pretty buildings and views of Prague, but we made our way down for some food before getting inside the castle, and oh my, there was a lot of stairs. Fortunately, there's some good distraction shops on the stairs of pretty handmade wood and ceramic art that seem cultural to Prague, and also seeing the oldest pub in Prague, which we come back to later. I did try a dumpling, but really my meal was chicken with bits, like just general. But I did have a chance to try some of that goulash, which was actually pretty yum for a stew. It only feels right to try something traditional from the place you're visiting, you know?
It's on the future. You know what I mean, right? You understand me.
So yeah, this is the castle we visited afterwards. If you see what I mean, it was pretty darn empty, like, which I understand if it got abandoned and people took things over time, or like, I don't know, they've changed out modernly, but damn, you kind of have to picture what would have been here, because there's not much from what you can see, and there wasn't much info in like those little leaflets to help with that. So some things were pretty obvious, like this throne, but other areas it was just like, what is going on? The next zone we went to felt very Snow White to me, with a hint of German and the houses being tiny for the dwarfs. Felt really like a fantasy land, especially the skeleton, which is probably the witch that died in the end. Totally not a spoiler.
This is just behind.
This is behind the scenes of Breaking Bad. Jesse! We took in all the gorgeous sights of the old city buildings and random street things we found along the way, like this random potato head, whilst making our way towards Charles Bridge, which I had no idea the whole time it was called this, but it's a famous bridge that's in Prague, with all the grand statues along the sides for the king, with the big old Gothic arch at the end, like an entry to Transylvania. It was a long day, so we just went into a local Pan-Asian restaurant that had the most random, obscure names that you can kind of tell was from ChatGPT. It must have played a part in this. The food sucked, which no surprise there because it was a massive menu and the things were really weird, but it was an interesting end to day one. two had a lot lined up for us. Can't lie, I'm not actually sure where we went for this, but seemed like we went to another area with a big impressive church and a graveyard. However, it got occupied by a wedding that day, so we went to explore the graves. Oh. Oh no, Rudolph! Aww.
It says Rudolfa, not Rudolf.
Oh fuck. No, it says Rudolph Damage.
Rodina, Rudolfa,
Whatever, Georgie. Whatever. I don't know who these graves held, but it was clearly people with money and taste, because these were very impressive and artistic. It's interesting how different cultures display their dead fam. Never doubt Czechia, by the way, it does get bloody boiling. Oh my days, my shoulders got burnt that day. We couldn't go in the church, so we went back to our ride and headed for our little boat trip on the Vltava. Totally butchered that, but that's what it is, that river in central Prague. It was like riding the Thames in London, but it's Prague, and it doesn't have a London Eye, but they do have really cool buildings along the riverbank, which are ancient, including better viewings of Charles Bridge in all its glory. It was a nice chill ride compared to hectically walking through the busy streets, trying to see as much as possible. We could just sit here on our lazy asses and just be on the boat, be present on the boat and looking at things. Hey, I even took some time to draw on my little sketchbook of my sights that we were seeing. You can check them out on my art account. Hi. Marketing. The rest of our day we spent walking about, because the last event of the day was evening based in the old Prague pub that I mentioned before, where we got to eat like Vikings and be entertained like it used to be in this old ass place. I was not prepared for the amount of performances we were about to see. We sacrificed Jorge's brother to be the test rabbit to lick the fire, and it looked really cool, but I wonder how it felt and tasted. What I do know though is that the starter meal was very nice. We had lots to choose from. All sorts of things were going on. The same round of entertainers coming back and doing their thing, but bigger and better than before, whilst we dined like Vikings. We were literally only allowed to eat with our hands, something we ain't too used to. The beer is very famous in Czechia, so I had to give it a try. Although I don't like beer, so really it just tasted regular to me. But anyways, a lot of the last entertainment was fire. No really, they played with fire and it was fabulous. Then we made our drunken way back home across Charles Bridge. Hello.
Hi.
Little doggy. Let's touch the doggy. Hello doggy. Why do people touch the woman?
I was going to say
like, people touch the woman and people touch the dog.
No, I didn't even realize it's a woman, you know? Yeah, why this one in specific?
Okay, if Charles Bridge was pretty in the morning, it was really bloody beautiful at night. The dark of the lights mixed well with how gothic everything really felt. You can tell I was a little bit drunk by how confident I was filming myself. But yeah, that was an entertaining end to day 2.
The things I told you.
As you can tell by the vibes, this was more of a laid-back kind of day. We all went out for this clothing outlet, but Joji and I weren't on the lookout for much, so we just saved our money and explored the toy shop to pass the time. But once we were back in the city, we were on the hunt for random street art statues.
Bulge.
Most of them being about Franz Kafka, who I only really learnt about whilst in Prague. Otherwise I had no idea who he is. He seemed to be a writer and published books, but only got fame from when he died, so that's just a classic bloody tragedy that happens to many historical creatives as usual. At least they have these men pissing statues to commemorate his life. I'm sure he's dancing in his grave at this fact. Also, who let these freaky babies out with their bronze buns to the sun, and also let these penguins on the loose? This dancing building too. It was just fun to wander about and see all these small art displays out and about that you can question but also admire. Walking does take a whole lot out of you, so we ended it all there. I was pretty clueless about the plans, and day 4 took me again by surprise as we visited a city south of the river called Keski Krumlov, where we first explored the castle's multiple gardens. Garden number 1 had a lot of pink, which me likey. I think there was a festival that day too, so we saw plenty of medieval cosplays walking about, and they all looked fabulous and really convincing actually. Like I said, I had no idea where we were going or what this place was, so I don't know what these cool stripy buildings are, but our guide said some poor princess got thrown out of it twice and died the second time because it was from this prince that she was forced to be with, who was apparently very mentally ill. Good times. But despite that, this place was probably the highlight of the trip. It was amazing how preserved everything is, really keeping the Baroque medieval feel, a flashback into time. There were lots of little stalls of custom-made trinkets to buy outside the castle, as well as some archery that we nailed like a boss. Outside of the grounds, the streets were just as well preserved and beautiful, really keeping the vibe of the times. Hell, there was even a medieval Coldplay performance.
Oh! You're real! You're real!
Quería que era
Oh! You're not real. Nothing is real. What's this one do? Oh my little cookie.
Yeah, don't mind the abrupt ending there. We are now on to day 5, where we tried to squeeze in some last minute sights, like this church that holds this little mini Jesus, who apparently was made by someone holy. They sure tucked him well away in there. I don't know nothing about the origins of this little Jesus or why it's special. I found worldwide nativity scene figurines way more interesting. Did you get to spot your country? I did. The English one sucked, obviously. I also found this room of mini Jesus costumes more interesting. The details and care in the outfits though. Crazy how much they do for a little baby statue. He's even got a cute little crown. The ones I show are my favourites, that were presents from different countries, displaying their own cultural editions. It's so adorable! And personally, better than the originals. We avoided the biggest building until the end, the Grand National Museum, to try and learn some Czechia history last minute, and we started on the top floor to admire the architecture of the building itself. A grand structure like this, it definitely needs some appreciation, and definitely did not disappoint on the inside. Like, look at these cool designs, man. Top floor was more about the inside design and random bits, while second floor was all about animals. Everything from everywhere. Seeing all sorts of animals I ain't ever seen before and having them compared to humans, that was actually pretty fascinating. I definitely loved this floor. The amount of things to see was endless, and I'm a sucker for animals, so I was just in a daze. I'm actually not sure which section was my favorite, but the deep sea life section did have some sweet ambience. I felt like I was in a dream. I don't think I've ever truly appreciated rocks until this section. These are goddamn beautiful and so unique to each other.
Man, I just want to eat them.
Too many crystals for me, I'm just pushed away out there, mate.
They're minerals, Marie. This might be bigger than Hank's. This must be bigger than Hank's collection. They're really pretty.
We made it to the Prague history floor and realised we probably should have done ground floor first because we were zonked out to even retain what there was to learn. I was just skimming things and roasting weird armour. Looks like they have a beautiful history and culture though. I also did learn more about Prague history in World War II watching the movie Anthropod after I went to Prague, so I do recommend a watch. It has Cillian Murphy in it if that's any interest. This was pretty much the finale to our trip, so I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Please leave a like and let me know if you learned anything or inspired to come down. Subscribe to watch more previous travel videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Signing off with this digital display of time by the museum.